You know who's behind Bitcoin? Putin. It's a conspiracy to the American economy and the world. It's a long-range plan he started 7-8 years ago. He's going to see the demise of the Western financial world while he's still the head of Russia. He's going to be there long enough, and he's already hacked into the brains of all the morons.
And you fear Bitcoin is a Putin-inspired plot to bring down America?
No, I said that what are the two countries that benefit most from a destabilization of the U.S. dollar? China and Russia.
I've heard you say if you knew who was behind Bitcoin, you'd run like crazy.
No, if everybody knew who was really behind Bitcoin, it'd go to zero.
You'd get out of it as fast as you can.
It's a Putin conspiracy, crypto. And the Russians started it 11, 12 years ago to take control of the simple-minded morons. And it's worked. Now, am I the only person on the planet that knows that the Russians have been the biggest producers of Bitcoin for almost since the beginning? One would think, gee, I wonder why. What's worth polluting the air? Now, if some people think Bitcoin was started to undermine the US dollar, let's just take that as a scenario. Let's just take that as maybe has a modicum of truth in it. Who would benefit the most from a weak dollar? I'm not talking about the guy that sells on Amazon, okay? Who would benefit? What world powers would benefit from a weakness of the United States dollar? I can name 3 or 4 countries. Now you connect the dots, meatheads. If you knew who was really behind Bitcoin, you would run as fast as you could to sell it. I know, 100%. If you knew who owned Bitcoin or who started Bitcoin, and you had Bitcoin, you couldn't sleep at night. I know, 100%. And when the real founder of Bitcoin comes out, it is my humble opinion, and there's nothing humble about me, Bitcoin will go zero in a microsecond, whoop, like that. 99.9999% of the people that own Bitcoin are morons. Some of you in this room fall into that category. You found a $1,000 bill in the street, just say, well, I found a $1,000 bill in the street. If you found a $1,000 bill in the street, what would you do with it? You cash it, right? You wouldn't hoard it, would you? It's exactly the same. You found some in the street that happened to go up in value. When the millennials, or the group that are the Bitcoin purchasers, have to come up with cash to supplement their lifestyle because they're not getting it in the other way, it is going to drive Bitcoin down. Now, I'm not suggesting that anybody's going to say who's the real founder of Bitcoin. I don't know if that'll ever come out, okay? Because I'm certainly not going to tell anybody what I think. But when China shuts down Bitcoin, when China has pictures of them crushing servers on the internet, when China is restricting, let's just say it was China that started Bitcoin. They started it to disrupt the US and UK economy, but it's now disrupting their economy.
Right.
So they're getting...
So it's time to pull the plug.
Correct. We got some Bitcoin in there, I can tell. Too bad. Shows you the stupidity. Shows you the stupidity. And I know who's behind Bitcoin. And it ain't some Japanese guy in a cave. I know the guy. And when that comes out, you heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero. PayPal and a number of banks have now authorized it. And at one time, Mr. Musk said that you could buy his cars with Bitcoin. And then he subsequently said you couldn't buy cars. He said he put about $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, to the best of my knowledge. He's still got $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. But it's very controversial now. And I had once said, not once, but I said that the reason I didn't like Bitcoin from the very beginning, more than 50% of the Bitcoin was manufactured in China. And then the second biggest manufacturer of Bitcoin was Russia, where there's no rule of law. And I hadn't really looked, or cared for that matter, because I'm not a tree hugger, that Bitcoin was crappy for the environment because of all the energy it burns. Okay. Having said all that, I then, subsequent to that, I said that, well, it doesn't matter those things because even though it has no real backing, either is the US dollar. When the US dollar went off the gold standard many years ago, before most of you were born, Bitcoin doesn't have any backing other than its following. Not dissimilar to the US dollar. And I said again in the previous filming of this, I'm not trying to equate the US dollar with Bitcoin in any way, shape, manner, or form. Okay? But I didn't like it because it didn't have a following, and I didn't believe in it to ever be able to be used as currency. The head of Saudi Arabia, the number 3 in line, but currently the head, the lawyer, is now squirreled up to the head of Iran. And they had a meeting 2-3 days ago. Kissy face, they hate each other. Why would those two countries all of a sudden become long lost brothers? I can think of 10 scenarios. One of which is Biden is not perceived to be as strong as Trump. And so Saudi realizes that it's time to expand their friendliness. Now, President Trump's son-in-law did a terrific job getting those 3 countries to agree with Palestine, so they would have not sovereign rights, but they would be able to deal with them politically. So the world's changing. But getting back to Bitcoin, who would benefit from a weak dollar? There's an old saying, follow the money. JP Morgan, Citibank predicted Bitcoin could go to, if I remember correctly, $100,000, $300,000, and $400,000 a coin, or roughly something like that. If that's true, the first primary reason I didn't like Bitcoin, I still don't, is it didn't have a backing. Well, apparently they have their own backing, they have a following. But the second reason is it was too volatile. Okay, I paid for a Rolls Royce 750,000 pounds sterling for my birthday last year. I didn't pay for anything, Sally did. Let's say I gave him, let's just say Bitcoin was $75,000 a coin. It wasn't. I would have given them 10 coins, right? As they drive the car off the ramp of the truck that delivered it here, Bitcoin is now $65,000 a coin. What did I really pay for it? Well, I paid the $75,000 a coin. What did they really get for it? Unless they had an exchange for that coin where they could convert it into something else. It's got a lot of, as a store value, we'll see. Is it another gold? I don't know.